Hi, love. Hello, and welcome to Co-Creative Healing Journey. My name is Greta. I am a healer, and this is the video for week 7 of our process of ongoing healing here on the channel and also at my Patreon, where I create intuitive healings that are super amazing and just so profound. Usually interactive, where spirit comes in, where I do the reading that is an extension of the readings that I do here, and then spirit comes in with like tasks and let's pause, contemplate this, consider that, journal this, and of course energy work. We like infuse water, we create healing water, we have your guides and angels working on you, all of these things. It's just been so amazing, so profound. So I hope that you will join me there. And I also have set up some books on my Patreon where I now have my store, and I've changed the healing processes that I used to sell on my website back in the day. I've made them over into books that you can now buy, just like the Iyanla Van Zant's 21 Days of Forgiveness, which is a book that changed my life, certainly, but also just improved it. Oh, it was so healing, so incredibly healing. And so, with a mix of different healing processes that I've been through, I created these books. I made them into books, and they are now available on my store. And so, that being said, let's get to it. um, soul messages. Yes, soul messages. Let's see what Spirit wants to talk about. And we're going off of last week's messages, which were about soul awareness, where we kind of got a method. And so I feel like this week, Spirit wants to talk about basically what soul awareness can do for you, all right? What can soul awareness do for your life? I already dropped a card. I'm going to pick it up and we will keep going. So I dropped Sacred Journey, Life Cycles, Family, Transformation. Then there is Achievement. Keep focused on your dream. Interesting. We've got Remembrance, resurfacing of past feelings and emotions. Wonderful energy. And we have Healing, Reconnecting with Your True Nature, which I believe, yes, is Master number 33. And we have our little master number 22. So awesome messages. Let's get right to it. Let me organize. There's an organization here, especially since we're going from 22 to 23. And last week we did have this notion of the steps: step 1, step 2, step 3. Spirit wants to start here. We're talking about sacred journey, life cycles, family, transformation. And so the message that Spirit has is that if you look at all these cycles, you could consider them as different ways of life that people have. And we would be looking at them from the level of the soul. And so in some souls, for some souls, they have a life that is not very rich, kind of bland, kind of empty at a soul level. And here there's a little more life. Here there's even more life. Here there's, less life because it kind of went out. So there are different levels of soul growth and soul evolution, we would say. But more than anything, it's more the notion that different people, because it's one of those things when we say old soul, young soul, and so on. It's not really that linear. We don't like evolve through souls in a linear timeline, right? In 1800, when I incarnated in the 1800s, my soul was less developed than now in the 21st century. It doesn't work like that. And so there's no notion, right? You could look at someone who is very materialistic, who doesn't seem to have a lot of soul growth and soul evolution going, and yet at a soul level they could be very evolved, very developed, and in this life they're just working on something else, right? And so there's the notion that it's not something to see from the outside, and that there's no right or there's no wrong. So before we go into that, Spirit is just saying, like, we do not want to feed these perceptions that some souls are better than others, some souls are fundamentally more evolved than others, because it's not what it is. It's just different kind of work, right? Is a CEO more evolved than a, like, someone who's working in their factory? Are they more involved? No, they just do different kinds of work for different kinds of reasons, right? They've been trained differently. They have different goals in life. They had different gifts. They had different what's the word? Like, they had different constraints in their own lives, but they were also supported by society to evolve in different kinds of ways, and souls are the same. And so what's important to know is that everybody's journey is sacred, and everybody's journey requires, as the word requires, respect, and requires in the sense that we will be harmed when we disrespect someone else's journey, when we try to pull them off their path, when we try to have them learn lessons that they're not here to learn, when we try to share lessons that are not here to learn, which is very important in this day and age when anybody, myself included, but can turn on a camera and do healing work, give lessons and things like that. But there's such a thing as initiation. The high priestess is silent for a reason, right? And it's part of the soul wisdom to know that. And whenever you go against your own soul wisdom, you are harming yourself. Not just others, but you're also harming yourself. You know, one of the greatest sins, I believe in the Bible, but just in general, is a false prophet. Someone who's able to lead thousands of people off the path, and especially out of connection with their own sacred journey. And so this is an awareness that is coming to you. There is an awareness here for you at this time that, my love, you have your own path, you have your own journey, you have your own dream. This is how it's being put in this way. But there's an awareness bursting from within you, I feel like, and with different levels to it, that you as a soul, you have your own path, you have your own journey, you have your own soul goals and soul drives and soul evolution, and things that you need to achieve as a soul at this time. And so what you're going to find is that prior to that, you will then have invested a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of focus into other people's path, other people's energies, other people's stories and stuff. And I'm feeling that this is very close to you, but it's also farther away. Like for example, I'm being shown the example of COVID. COVID happens on the planet. A huge, huge moment of growth and of collective growth and evolution in so many directions, so many levels. Huge moment, especially of reckoning. COVID is like, hey, wake up, right? This is where we are in so many different areas of society. Everything laid bare, and so many people ran back into me because they were wounded. So a lot of like, no, I don't want to collective. What about me? What about my freedom? What about my rights? What about this? What about that? Again, it is not right, it is not wrong, but it is one level of what happened. And other people move forward into, okay, so how do we use this to create an advance in how we live as individuals, how we live collectively, how we manage work, how we can manage health, how we manage finances in society, right? All of these things. And so there are different levels at which to engage with any kind of event, and part of staying focused on our soul path and our soul evolution is not to be drawn too much into the external events and into things that require really a minimal amount of energy. They don't require as much energy as we could consider, right? So for example, I'm living in a house that is currently being sold. And so we've had what is it called, like realtors come and show the house around and all those things, and there's just so much that goes into selling a house, and I've chosen to to work around that. So literally in my work process I work around that, and but try to keep focused on my dream, have been posting and all that stuff. So that's been done, right? And then yesterday I just wake up and I'm like, yes, I'm in July, I'm in this energy, let me work it out. And I set up my whole schedule, focus on my dream, doing my thing, putting my energy into my own path on so many different levels. It's not just work, but making lots of, not just plans, but setting up alignments for how I'm going to work my life in July. And then we get a phone call. There needs to be one more appointment for the house. Okay. I stayed focused. I'm gonna have it work around my schedule. So I said, no, I'm not doing it on this day because I'm gonna be working, I'm gonna be filming, I'm not gonna participate. But then I will set up like 4 hours and we're going to work on doing certain things around the house to make it super good. It's already good. Let's make it super good, like a one last hurrah, right? And as soon as I said that, I was like, damn it. That's not a line. That's not a thing. I don't need to put this much energy, but I really like want to have it sold, right? So I'm gonna put even more energy into it. But fundamentally, it's not my house. I don't own it, right? But I'm gonna help, and I'm gonna put all my energy into it. Today they called, and they said they canceled that appointment and made an earlier appointment, so that that chunk of time that I set up was halved. Actually, even more. We lost 3 hours, and then that's it. That's it. I can't give it more energy than I want it to, because it's not in alignment, and the energy at this time wants me to stay focused on my dream and stay focused on my path. And so sometimes when we don't know ourselves, we get redirected by events, and that's when you know you're aligned. But I can't get redirected unless I'm already focused, right? Keep focused on your dream. One thing the soul awareness does is that it focuses on our path in such a way that we're giving that path energy, we're giving it time, we're making it a priority. We are choosing how we're going to journey down that path very consciously. And so, because that is what we've said, keep focus, then the universe can co create that continued focus with us. But if that is not the case, if that is not the awareness that we are putting into it, then the universe can conspire, but it won't necessarily be in the aligned direction, right? The spirit is going to be moving in one way. We're going to be volunteering to do things that we don't need to do in another way. And the way that I read this, when I heard it, that they canceled, I was like, oh, I'm getting protected. Actually, because I also just kind of hurt my knee. But I thought I was like, oh, I'm getting protected, but I also felt like the house was saying, the house issue, the house area was like, no more energy. We got enough. Thank you. I put so much energy, so much time, so much focus, so much prayer, so much visualization, all of the stuff into the house energy, and it's enough. And I was literally like going, oh, let me clean the bathroom in advance. And I was cleaning the bathroom. And as I was cleaning it, I was like realizing like, oh my God, I need to stop putting more energy into this. It is just feeling so um wrong. Yeah, wrong. But it also just feels so aligned, and fundamentally it's a trespass, because it's not part of my journey at this time to be putting more energy into it. And maybe the house of homeowners, that would be their space to be putting more energy on it. But there was a clear distinction. That's why I'm sharing the example of this. There's 1 hour of the day, I'm either working on my dream, focusing on that, or I'm putting time and energy into something that is not fundamentally that transformative for me. It's not even that important for me. I won't think about this next month, right? Or 2 months. It will change nothing fundamentally in my own life. And it's like that. There's a clear distinction being birthed at this time. That was the notion again. And there are different levels to this. There is the level of what is true for me, what is on my path, what is my, again, it says dream, but I feel like it's more like the truth, the alignment, right? And it's one level to know it, but it's another level to be prioritizing it and to be working towards it. And Spirit says continually, tirelessly, in a focused kind of way. So, that being said, we're going to move on to the next card, I feel. Remembrance. Oh. It's such a interesting energy. I don't know if you can feel it, but it's a very, very interesting energy. But remembrance says, resurfacing of past feelings and emotions. And what I'm getting is that I use actually remembrance in the sense of remembering our spiritual being, remembering who we really are, the true self, the true nature, which is actually written in the next card. But the process of coming into soul awareness, when you're on your path, you're doing your own thing, you're true to that, you're keeping focused on that. There's also an awareness that comes in where you're remembering. It's like pieces of your soul that come back. And when we are in soul energy, we're also in the heart center. What we love, what we value, who we really are, what we're really about, what our priorities are, what our ambitions are. And now I understand more the notion of the dream, the achievement. What do I want to live? And it's not an answer that's shallow, that is about formatted beliefs and what we see on social media. It's an answer that comes from the soul, and it's experience like a remembrance. Oh, I always wanted to do this. I always wanted to go there. I always wanted to experience that. It's like a deep part of the soul that can start talking, because we are going to be able to listen, but moreover, we're going to be able to do something with what we hear, so that the self is never burdensome. We don't discover ourselves, we don't remember parts of ourselves when there's nothing we can do with those parts, and we can't just, it's like having a dream that comes to you all the time while you're in prison. You're in the little box, you're in prison, and there's nothing you can do, and then your dream comes all the time, but I want to be do this, but I want to do this, I want to be do that. As opposed to that, soul growth and soul evolution would be about, okay, I am in prison now, this is the reality, and maybe learning presence, and maybe learning exercise, and maybe learning forgiveness, and going into deep healing of the situation that you're actually in. Similarly, this remembrance is coming in because you are in a situation that, as per the energies prior, has been so expansive, and you now have the space to really remember a deeper awareness of who you are, because you're going to be able to do something with it, because it's a blessing now rather than a burden, rather than an extra challenge, an extra difficulty. It's a very beautiful experience that is here for you in these times and ahead. The more we develop our soul awareness, and grow and evolve as a soul, the more we are able to remember ourselves. And souls are very, very big beings, right? And part of the soul is also the awareness of past lives, for example, in my belief system, right? And so when all of those things comes in, it changes. Yeah. There we go. It changes our sense of self. And there's a sense of reconnecting to our true nature. But the message here would be more that you start crafting that true nature. You put this piece back and that piece back, and you put this in, and this gets dissolved, and then there's, it dies in the energetic sense, and then it's renewed in a different way, and there's like this phoenix type energy that arises, and all of it is just healing deeper and deeper into the true being. And we do have master number 33 here, which is a number of soul wisdom linked to soul growth and soul evolution. And so there's a wisdom that comes in here where you shift through soul awareness, you shift and you start experiencing the cycles of soul growth and evolution. They're not challenges, again, they're not challenges, they're not burdens, they're not punishments, but they are means through which we can grow and evolve into a greater and truer embodiment of who we are. So for example, on your path, you may have a destined experience of, let's say, becoming a teacher, right? And so you went into teaching school, and one of the first things that happens usually in teaching schools, at least I'm thinking about France, but people would be sent, like when you graduate, your first year, you are sent to be a teacher in a school that you don't choose. Doctors do that also, like where I live. But it's like, and usually you will end up into these outskirts areas or dangerous areas sometimes in France, where basically nobody wants to go. Most people don't want to go, and so you get set there, and what can ensue can be a very hellish experience. And the notion is that you have all this notion of being a teacher, and now you're going to grow and you're going to evolve and apply that knowledge, but it's a difficult experience. So that's how soul growth and soul evolution has been in the old cycle. It's been soul growth and soul evolution against the tide of kind of our conditioning and our wounding, and the way that society is currently organizing and flowing. We've been pushing against that tide in order to regain the space to have the soul awareness. But now that that work has been done, there's been expansion. There's a different level of soul awareness, which is now a continual healing into a greater awareness of the self. And to me, that's what healing is. Healing is developing greater wholeness. So there's the greater movement into greater wholeness, continual movement into greater wholeness. There's also more integration of the self. Again, those pieces coming back to us. And the soul growth and soul evolution is now not, and it's no longer about who we are not, it is about who we are. And it's about unpacking that and evolving with that and exploring that and inventing through that and even defining that for ourselves. What does that look like? What doesn't that look like? It's about having a lot of fun and a lot of games and a lot of play and a lot of movement in a different kind of cycle of growth and evolution. And that's also part of the soul awareness, is to know, oh, I'm not in those rough cycles anymore. I'm not in those choppy waters anymore. There's a wave coming. It's not going to drown me anymore. I'm going to ride that wave, right? I'm going to surf that wave and enjoy that. It's those kinds of shifts in perspectives that are also a result of soul awareness, because one of the aspects of soul awareness, and I think we'll end up on that, is the intuitional knowledge. So when we talk about intuition, there's the intuitive level where you just know something immediately and so on, right? That's in the intuitive. But there's the intuitional, and the intuitional for me is this knowledge of the soul. It's wisdom, essentially. And so when we are in the space of intuitional knowledge, intuitional awareness, one of the things that the soul knows so profoundly, innately, is all is well. All is well. And so intuitional knowledge will always be some version of all is well in the situation and circumstance. All is well because. All is well because, right? And so you see the bigger picture of how things are unfolding. You see those higher dynamics, but it's always against all is well. And all is well is one form of a spiritual principle. Another is perfection. This is perfect. Let me see it. How is this perfect? And your intuitional knowledge will go, oh, it's perfect. That got canceled because da 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 da. And all it does is affirm, reaffirm the divine perfection of reality within your experience, right? And so you can bring that intuitional knowledge into your experience, because life is perfect, because all things work for my highest good. In this moment, this is also working for my highest good. It's canceled, it's earlier, it's changing my plans, but it must be for my higher good. So let me see how. And again, the more you develop that intuitional knowledge, the more it is. It's not positivity, because it's not a positive event. It's actually super rude to cancel an appointment the day before, right? And move it up 3 hours and not want to, have to discuss when they're going to come. They were super rude about it. So it's not a positive element. It's not about being positive. It's much more, again, intuitional truth, higher truth. All is well. So this is working out for me. Let me see how. And so, my love, you've been through the cycles, and that's your true nature. It is to dwell at that level of intuitional truth. And so those were the messages that I have for you. To wrap it up, again, Spirit wants you to know this is a level of soul awareness that is available for you, that you are growing into. Wonderful time to be working your intuitional muscles, right? To be watching these kinds of videos, readings, but of course, always to relate it to what's going on in your life, because you will have a greater ability to see it. In a way, it will be like your third eye is opening, but you will have greater clarity on those levels. So do not be afraid to apply that clarity to your own life and your own experiences. And so, my love, those were the messages. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for bringing your energy here. I always appreciate it. Sending you lots of love. Wishing you all the best. Remember, the energy work is on the channel. A good day to be redoing it. It came out last week, but wonderful time to be redoing it. And of course, to do it as much as you possibly can, and that would be on Patreon. And so lots of love, wishing you all the best. May you be blessed always and in always, and I will be seeing you around. Bye.